Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Dewi Intan and now I want to telling story about the Golden Blow. Chapter 1. They agreed to go to shopping district where the prince has not gone with Meiji, preferring out of the way place where Meiji would not go and no one who would know either the prince or Caroline would see them together. Miss Essien over her husband Bob to the prince as an escort to meet the prince family when they arrive in London. The prince himself is a museum piece. She said intended to be taken back to Eden, Ferver's native home, called American City. The prince compares his moral sense to that of Miss Essien. Her is like an elevator in one of Miss Ferver's office building, while his is more like a broken assigned staircase missing several steps. As they had planned when meeting at Miss Essien's home, Caroline stand and the prince go shopping for Meiji. Wedding gift. Meiji tell the prince that like British that Fervers have treasure hidden in many different places. They carry on a few choice pieces around with them. The prince goes to thank Miss Essien for her role of bringing about his marriage to Meiji Ferver. Miss Essien is blunt about the need for him to critics Caroline, but the prince feels troubled that Miss Essien feels the need to be judgmental about Meiji's friend. The prince offered to send a carriage for her, but she says she will take the omnibus, which costs only a penny. Caroline mentioned the many times in Rome when the two of them had gone shopping. The prince was able to make bargains on many items. Caroline still has Caroline asked the prince to help her find a wedding present for Meiji, something that cannot be bought in America. The prince said this is not encouraging for him because he is to go there soon with Meiji after their marriage. The prince's confidence in Caroline that he had suspected she would be married by now to some rich American. This reveals that they knew each other previously. The prince tells her that he is to dine with Mr. Beaver that evening and asks if she has any message for him. Correlate confesses she has asked the prince to accompany her on this shopping trip, more to be alone with him than to be have his advice on the gift. The prince family is coming from Italy to attend the wedding. The prince and carriage shop for 2 hours without finding anything appropriate. She asked the prince if the wedding is to take place on Friday, which is a lucky day. She wants to relive for one last time before Prince's marriage, the time they had together when there was still a possibility of love between them. As they talked, the prince sensed that Correlate does not particularly like the United States, and Correlate confesses this is true. The prince afterwards claimed that he did not notice him anymore, that he ever noticed the lower classes. The prince asked Meiji if the suspect him at all of being a hypocrite, meaning that he is marrying her for her money. The prince tells her he noticed the fellow. At once, the prince admits that he does not go shopping in London because he finds the experience boring. Miss Asiham and the prince observe Correlate stand Irving. Miss Asiham explained to the colonel that Correlate and the prince had previously had a romance but broke it off because neither had money enough to marry. Miss Asiham believes that Correlate has come to help Meiji understand the prince as she herself had come to know him.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Introduce, my name is Hadijah. I continue next story. 2 years after her marriage to Adam Pfeiffer, Charlotte attends a society event that has done the best of London society. She encounters Mr. Essingen, who questioned her about her presence with the prince instead of Mr. Pfeiffer. Charlotte explained that Mr. Pfeiffer did not feel like coming, but his in Charlotte and Meiji and prince without him. Meiji's son feel that she is going to go back and be with her father, leaving her husband as companion for her stepmother. Mr. Essingen is such at this arrangement and asks Charlotte if it will not have been more appropriate for her as his wife to be with the ill Mr. Pfeiffer. Charlotte explained that Meiji has made it great attempts to be with her father as much as possible, so she is off to decide. She tells Mr. Essingen that Mr. Pfeiffer has has the greatest possible affection for his daughter, and she, as his wife, has been unsuccessful at drawing an even greater affection for himself. Mr. Essentium is uncomfortable with the implication of this, especially because Charlotte proposes that it is entirely reasonable for her to spend the time with the equally deserted friends, particularly because they have had a previous relationship alone. This is what causes Mr. Essentium to have some fear as to the implication of their presence there that evening. Charlotte says she fears Mr. Essentium will leave her just at the moment when she is feeling deserted by everyone. The prince himself comes with the ambassador to tell Charlotte that the greatest possible person has requested to see her after in a private audience. When Charlotte leaves Mr. Essentium, questioned the friends as to who requested the audience, with Charlotte thinking that it was inappropriately the prince. Amerigo, however, assured her that it was the ambassador. He says, Mr. Fairford, it's more like Charlotte's father-in-law than her husband. But Amerigo and Charlotte were eager to focus on Mr. Essentium is concerned that both the prince and Charlotte have in effect let their respective spouses free and are spending time together. Regardless of the social consequences, the prince humorously reflects that previous to his own wedding, he and Mr. Essentium had thought about pledging to find Charlotte a husband. Mr. Essentium decides she has had enough of this and wants to go home. The prince begs her not to desert him just as Charlotte did, but Mr. Essentium continues to walk away. Colonel and Mr. Essentium return home following the party riding in a hair carriage. They discuss Charlotte and the prince's public appearance as a couple with their respective spouses. Mr. Essentium feels that their strong defense of themselves suffer her idea that there is something inappropriate to occurring between the two. The colonel points out that the prince's wife is more devoted to her father than she is to her husband, is left out in the cold with nothing really to do. Mr. Essentium admits that as long as she has known him, the prince has always acted admirably. The colonel asks she means that the prince has earned the right to kick up his heels. His wife replies that isn't a question of their behaving well ever, but of how they behave together. They discuss which one, Charlotte or the prince, is to be held responsible for the impending scandal. Mr. Essentium believes it is more due to Charlotte's behavior than the prince. The colonel advises her to leave the situation alone. Mr. Essentium objects that they will be implicitly encouraging the situation, but the colonel insists that she mind her own business. The Prince and Charlotte's behaviors and consequences are their own responsibility and not anyone else. Charlotte and the Prince feel that they now have an extraordinary freedom. Charlotte resists the idea of this freedom. thought the friends has also felt it for some time, the inevitability of the relationship and the direction in which it is going on. According to Carla, this freedom was real when Carla returned from an extended stay in America. Fulford was arranging his newly purchased antiquities in his museum. The prince wondered if they did everything they could have done to avoid this outcome when he received the telegram announcing Carlet's marriage and responded with his own richest telegram. Carlet still keeps in a secret place. They had the attitude they were what will happen, and their wise nodding they called to stop it. Carlet arrives to visit, and the friends wondered if she will leave when she learns Meiji is not present. She does not. She joins him in the parlor where Carlet dries her feet, having come to the rain. She tells the friends that she did not use her own carriage because of the weather, which makes her feel as she used to, that she could do anything she liked. When Carla says she is acting as she used to do by doing with whatever she liked, the friends admits he does not have ever cared. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Menji always feels inferior to Carlot in terms of style. Menji always spends her time at her father's house because her husband is now rarely home. Menji always feels alone. The feeling comes from more than just being in a room alone. She feels herself separated from her husband and her friend Carlot. It has been discussed sometime before Menji, Amerigo, and Purpose might travel to Spain during the summer months. Menji thinks this is her plan to get closer herself with her husband and keep him away from Carlot. While in Spain, Menji spends an hour in body under Lord Crichton's protection. When she returns, she decides to confront Fanny with her knowledge of Carlot and her husband. He wants to get something for his father for his birthday. He visits the shop where Carlot and Amerigo see a golden ball, where Carlot and Amerigo saw the golden ball. Menji bought the ball and brought it home. Later, the shopkeeper told him that Carlot and Amerigo had visited his shop a few days before his wedding and had seen the ball. Menji placed inconspicuously on the fireplace for Amerigo to find. Menji saw the ball to Fanny and told her about it. He saw it as an indication of that, although he knew that his husband and stepmother have known each other before. He now discovered that their relationship has not ended but continues. Past Menji engagement, Fanny confessed that she knew that they had a relationship before, but said she didn't know that it has continued. Menji calls Amerigo infallibly, though Fanny confessed that she herself said nothing. Menji rejects this because Fanny is not pretending as Amerigo is. Menji points out the flaw in the ball. recognizing it is a symbol of love married to Amerigo and her fractured friendship with Carlot. It's only for his father that he cares now. Fanny urges Menji to leave Carlot and Amerigo alone. He tells Menji that Amerigo was never held as interested in her as he is right now. Fanny took to ball and slammed into the floor as Amerigo entered. Having heard the last part of their conversation, Fanny leaving Menji to face her husband alone. Menji explains that Fanny, after noticing the flaw in the board, told her the only thing to do was destroy it, which she did before Menji could stop her. Menji told Amerigo she knew the full story about the golden bowl. When the shopkeeper came to the house that morning to admit she overcharged him for the bowl because of its defects.
Okay, I will continue the next story. After all the guests arrive at farms, Maggie experienced a sense of freedoms, almost as if she were being released from a murky and closed space. Also, no other exchange has occurred between her and her husband. She feels that he has kept his distance from Charlotte, as he has kept his distance from her. She explained this to Fanny Excihan, who is befuddled as to her friend's assurance that Amerigo has not told Charlotte that Maggie knows about their affair. When had explained it to Amerigo about her purchase of the golden bowl, she told her husband that she felt the Jewish shopkeeper tried to return part of the purchase money because he liked her. When mentioning that he had known the people Charlotte and Amerigo in the photographs, the shopkeeper told Maggie that he remembered them only because he had a major purchase a short time after their visit to his shop, not because he found them worthy of his attention. It was Maggie alone who touched his heart. The pestilence leave farms just as Mrs. Rains and the Miss Lucas return to the area. Maggie feels that Charlotte is waiting for an opportunity to confront Maggie with her affair with Amerigo. After dinner one evening, Maggie leaves the group to stand alone on the balcony. She feels that she is on the side of subversing and judging those within. Soon Charlotte joins her. They stop to watch Mr. Fairford and they inferredly question whose side he is on. They retreat to the other side of the house. Charlotte confronts Maggie, asking her if she has done anything to upset Maggie, since she has felt for some time that Maggie is keeping her distance from her. Maggie quietly states that she has nothing against Charlotte. Charlotte asks Maggie for a kiss as a sign of complete peace between them. Maggie passively agrees just as the other come out to join them. A few days later, Maggie and Mr. Pepper walk together to discuss their current situation. Mr. Pepper asks his daughter if she is stronger in dealing with Mrs. Rance and the Miss Luches than she was previously. Maggie states that she is stronger in many areas. She apologizes to her father for making him the victim of her selfishness. Mr. Pfeiffer denies this. He has that perhaps to prove the point, he and Charlotte may return to America. He and Maggie agree that they trust each other more than anyone else. They intend this to include their respective sports. They continue to be an independent unit, just as they were before their marriage. Maggie feels that both she and Charlotte have been helped by the guests walking in on their seeming embrace. The order at Thames assumed that the two women had a quarrel that has caused a certain tension in the country home, but that they have now patched up their difference and are friends again. Maggie is amazed at this misunderstanding, but she lets it go, saying it as beneficial to her own plans for restoring her marriage. She views Charlotte as a changed animal that has broken free and is roaming at large. Now Charlotte is playing the perfect hostess to the incoming guests and visitors. Her sense of duty brought on by Amerigo's keeping his distance from her even to the point of accepting himself from farms. Frequently breaks Maggie's heart. She feels sorry for the isolation that Charlotte now finds herself inhabiting. When Amerigo is at farms, he wonders that Gallery is lost in his thoughts. Maggie views him as wishing for isolation, wearied by the constant strain of being the dutiful husband. They hear a piercing cry from Charlotte as of wounded animal. Amerigo turns away as if he does not hear it. One Sunday, the only people present at farms are the Furfurs, the Singhams, and Amerigo and Maggie, along with Father Michel, who is standing the local crutch for a few weeks. Fanny Singham asks Maggie if she would rather that they leave to the she would like to stay and be a help to Maggie. Maggie encourages her to stay. Charlotte isolates herself from the others. She goes for a walk in the garden, even took it the hottest part of August afternoon. She has taken with her a book Maggie has recommended, but it is the second film of the three-film set. Maggie used this as an excuse to talk to her privately. She takes the first film to her and Charlotte invites her to stay and talk. Charlotte tells Maggie that she is tired of the life she is living at farms. She announced to Maggie that she and Mr. Ferber are leaving for America immediately as soon as they can gather their things. Maggie asks her is if she is indeed taking her father from her. Charlotte explained that she wants to be alone with the man she married. She believes he is worth the trouble and asks Maggie if she does not think so as well. Maggie agrees that he is worth the trouble. Charlotte tells Maggie that her stepdaughter loathed her marriage to her father. She confronts Maggie, asking if she has been working against her. Maggie asks if it would matter if she failed, which she confesses she has done. Charlotte and Mr. Ferber leave farms, leaving Maggie and Amerigo to live there alone. Maggie tells Amerigo that she is willing to go anywhere he wants, even abroad to visit some of the places he has loved so well. Instead, he insists the staying in England, but he wanders around Charlie bored. Funny assignment asks Maggie if she is worried that Charlotte will still be able to get at him if he's still there. Maggie replies that Charlotte will be able to get at him, no matter where he is. Fanny asks what she plans to do with her evenings. Maggie says they will begin to have visitors again once it's known that they are alone. Maggie feels that she and her father, who are lost, since Charlotte and Amerigo got what they wanted. Fanny asks if Mr. Ferber knows how far Charlotte and Amerigo had gone, but Maggie says that even she has no idea how far they went. She is sure that Charlotte does not know how much Mr. Ferber knows, which is what holds her to her husband. Maggie does not know what is holding Amerigo to her. A telegram arrives from Charlotte, asking if the four of the code get together of luncheon. Maggie shows it to Amerigo and both see it as one last time together before the Purpers leave for America. Amerigo does not understand why Charlotte does not want to have a formal dinner, but Maggie says that are being visited by of as sorely as the Asylum already have been. It may be that Mr. Pfeffer will want to go off her last father doctor dinner, leaving Charlotte with Amerigo. Amerigo wishes that Charlotte had understood Maggie better, but Maggie states that she is the one who decided her stepmother by holding her at distance. Amerigo tells her that Charlotte is stupid because she does not know that Maggie knows about her relationship with Amerigo. He asks Maggie to do one last thing, but he refuses to tell her what is until after Charlotte and Mr. Ferber leaves for America. When Mr. Ferber and Charlotte arrive, the atmosphere is strained. Mr. Ferber and Maggie talk privately, but there is too much that must be left unsaid, unsaid for them to say much. When they Ferber leaves, Amerigo takes the Principino upstairs, while Maggie prepares herself for what will happen when he returns. When he returns, Maggie realizes that Charlotte has completely lived their life. Amerigo assures Maggie that he sees only her. Thank you very much.